Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another Marvel Rivals guide. I'm Goodwin. Here today we're talking about Rocket Raccoon. I've been playing a lot of healers lately, trying to figure out which one that I like the most, and honestly I think Rocket Raccoon might be it. I still love playing as Invisible Woman, but Rocket has some squirreliness to him that I really do find very fun to play. Let's dive into this and let's take a look at some of the things that make him a really good choice if you're looking to level up. Now, lately, there's been a sort of surge in popularity for Rocket Raccoon, and I think that has to do with people finally realizing just how dependable of a hero he is in this game. He's got some pretty solid damage output, but also his healing orbs are really steady. They've got good range, and we'll get into why that's a solid option as a healer. Take a look at this Trash Panda and see what makes him such an effective hero to use in Marvel Rivals. So with that, we want to take a look at his abilities. So we're going to start with the basics and see what his kit is. One, we have his primary attack. It's a simple automatic weapon. It's got 45 rounds in each mag and a decent fire rate. Those allow this to be a substantial way to deal damage. If you hit your headshots, it's even more. So don't sleep on this. It's a very good piece of his kit. Secondly, we have his secondary. It's his source of healing. It shoots orbs that travel across map if you get them lined up right. There's no drop off on these. They will keep going until they get to somebody. They will bounce off walls, and they do slow healing over time. You can hit people as soon as you're coming out of spawn if you have the line of sight right. He also has a jetpack that allows for great mobility and escapability, and we'll get into that later in the video as well. Holding space allows him to have a slow descent fall, just like Hela or Namor. And he also has a wall run, which he is incredibly fast in, and allows his mobility to skyrocket. His utility is called the BRB, or Battle Rebirth Beacon. You place this down and it will allow you to revive a KO'd ally. It also provides armor boosts and a jetpack. These armor boosts, I believe, are for 25 each. So they're not much, but sometimes they can make a difference in a fight. His ultimate ability is an amplifier that boosts allied damage for anyone within range. And it's at actually a pretty significant range. So use this right and you can turn the tides of a fight and maybe even the entire game. His team ups are honestly, they're the polar opposite of each other. First team up he has is with Groot. Him and Jeff share the same team up with Groot. Groot gets 150 bonus health, which for Groot is absolutely insane. That puts him way above the next highest health in the game, and that makes Groot just a crazy tanky character. For Rocket or for Jeff, it gives them the ability to stand on Groot's shoulders to take reduced damage, which honestly, in my opinion, is terrible. I've tried this as Rocket. It just puts him right in the middle of the fight. It doesn't let him play the backline. It puts him right up there with everybody else, makes him a target, and you die so quickly. It's not a good trade-off for Rocket. However, the Bucky and Punisher team up, this one is insane. This puts down another beacon, only this one, as long as Bucky or Punisher are inside the sphere of that beacon, they get infinite ammo and an increased fire rate. This is nasty. The fire rate that it gives Punisher is faster than his turret, and we all know that his primary attack does more damage than his turret anyway. But with Bucky's attack does crazy damage on its own. It makes him devastating. This team up is definitely one that is worth asking for somebody to go either Bucky or Punisher if you're going to play Rocket. Request that team up. You won't be disappointed. So here I want to take a look at some of the pros and cons of Rocket Raccoon. Obviously, every character has their pros and cons, and I think that with his, it is important to know them so that you can really understand how to play him properly. So we'll start with the cons. One, he's got the lowest base health pool in the game. Okay, this is 250, and there are a few heroes that have this base health pool, but you need to remember this because it makes him very squishy. Well, he's not durable, we'll put it that way. He's very easy to one combo with a diver. So if you get a Black Panther or a Spidey in your backline, they're going to be able to disrupt you just by you trying to stay alive. They don't have to kill you. The next con I want to talk about is his healing orbs are not the fastest heals out there. You can pump multiples into the same ally, but they're not very fast. And for tanks, it might seem like it would take forever to heal them up, which granted, you know, tanks take a while to heal anyway. That's the reason they're tanks. But with these, they're pretty slow heals. So you got to keep that in mind. Be very cognizant of where your allies are and where their health bars are so that you can maximize his healing output. Now the pros. 1, his healing orbs, you can just keep pumping them. You get 8 per reload, and it's a pretty quick reload time. So you can just and just keep it going. Just keep pumping them out, and you'll see those heal numbers just add up and add up and add up. And it's even better if your allies are stacked up on point. The same orb will heal all of them together. You get way more efficient heals out of that. 2, he's extremely mobile. Although he only has a little bit of health, he's only at 250, like I said, and even with one of the armor packs, it only puts him at 275. His mobility can make him incredibly hard to kill, but it takes some practice. Thirdly, I want to talk about his damage. If you can hit your headshots, is crazy good. Okay, he can melt tanks surprisingly fast if you hit headshots. Now, this doesn't mean that he can 1v1 a Thor. Okay, I wouldn't recommend that. He can do it if necessary, but it's not easy. What I would say is keep in mind that your left click is going to be a huge game changer in a lot of dogfights if you use it right. So next, I just want to talk about some tips and tricks that I've learned in playing Rocket Raccoon that might help you as a beginner starting out. First tip I want to cover is do not just right click. I know that it's easy to heal bot your way through. You can rank up pretty quickly if you just heal bot your team and heal bot and heal bot. That's not using him properly. He has so much more to offer than just pumping out those healing orbs. They're good. They will definitely keep your team pretty well healed, but there's so much more to him than just the orbs. So I would say make sure you are not just right clicking, because he can turn a match entirely on offense with his help. Adversely, tip number 2, do not just left click. He does deal incredible damage for such a small healer, and his offensively inclined ultimate and team ups make him feel like he's more of a DPS. This makes it easy to forget that he is a support character. So your priority is still healing, so don't forget that. 3, learn his mobility well. His dash, his wall run, his slow fall, all combine with his minuscule hitbox to make him a very difficult target to hit. If you learn how to use this to your advantage, the enemy is going to have a terrible time tracking you down, and you'll be able to survive where other champs may not. You learn his squirreliness and how to properly use his movement, and the enemy will despise you for it. 4, this one takes some practice, especially if you're used to using like Luna Snow or Adam Warlock or Loki. Lead your shots. If you stand still, you hit pinpoint. But if you start moving around, which with Rocket, you're probably going to be moving around, you have to lead your shots. There is just a little bit of bullet drop, and that can cause you to miss a lot of them if you do not lead. So make sure that you are leading your shots. It's going to make it way easier to hit those headshots. And when he hits those headshots, his critical numbers are crazy good. Even for his healing orbs, their travel time is not great. So you need to make sure that you're aiming to where your ally is going to be, not where they are. And number 5, make sure you use your utility. I have had several games where I completely forget that he has a team up with Punisher and Bucky, and I forget to place down that beacon, and at the end of it, I'm kicking myself. Make sure that you remember it, because you will get flamed by your team if you don't. With that said, using your utility has to be done right. Do not overuse your dash. There's only 2 of them and they cool down, so you'd have to wait for them to come back. So don't get stuck without an escape route. That is very crucial for Rocket because he is so squishy. Also, you need to realize that when he runs on a wall and you dash out of it, he goes flying. Like seriously crazy distance covered when you dash out of a wall run. Use that one and it basically acts as 2 or 3 dashes instead of just the one. Use his ult strategically to help your team get that little bit of a push they need to finish off a fight. And don't worry, it charges quickly. You'll have another one soon. It charges even faster if you know how to use both his heals and his offensive gun properly to rack up that ult charge. So I hope this guide was helpful for you. I know Rocket is an incredibly powerful hero that a lot of people sleep on, but they don't realize his full potential. We've had some creators that have gone to one above all, the top 500 rank without dealing any damage. I think it was 16 total damage the entire run. And then we have one creator who's currently working on getting to Eternity without doing any healing. So he's an incredibly versatile character and can be used in a lot of different ways, which makes him so valuable on a backline. When you put him with his both offensive and defensive capabilities on a backline, it is incredibly valuable to both the other healers that are there with you, knowing that they have that kind of firepower back there to protect the backline. But it also makes your front line and your DPS that much more comfortable because they know they have that extra firepower at their disposal should they need it. So remember these 5 tips and tricks, and remember your role. Now, he is a healer, but he's more of an offensive minded one. Obviously, his ultimate is not a support ult. It's more of an offensive ult, but it can still turn the tides of a fight if you use it properly. And I would honestly recommend just making sure that you get your practice in with him. He does take a little bit of time to get that movement right and to get the mentality right, but he's well worth it. So thank you for showing up today. Thank you for sticking around. Get out there, try him yourself, see how you like him. He might just be the next one for you. I know I've been having a ton of fun on him, and I'm going to keep playing him for a little while now. I appreciate you all watching. The support lately has been fantastic. Just keep it up. I'm going to keep doing my thing. Let's do this together. Until the next one, be blessed, and you have a good day.